Trick or treat, smell my feet.
Give me a good horror movie to watch on Halloween.
It's the Film Threat Halloween Special. Welcome to the Film Threat Podcast. I am Chris Gore, joined as always by
Anthony Ray Bench. How's it going, everybody?
And our special guest on our Halloween special.
I'm Jessica Cameron.
And here we are. The best time of the year. You know why Halloween is the best time of the year?
Candy corn.
It's a holiday. It's one of the few holidays where there are no relatives involved. There's no you don't have to what's your Halloween dinner? What time are you getting here? Did you get on your flight? No. Halloween is about celebrating our love of just everything horror, which is why we're going to be talking about horror films on this episode. And we've got it's not just us, right? No. We've got 13 guests that are coming on the show to reveal to us what their favorite horror movies are. But before our first guest shows up, what are among your favorites? Because I think when you talk about what your favorite horror movie is of all time, that's kind of a big thing. I feel like it's very personal for a lot of people. What are among your favorites that you might choose as a favorite?
Well, for me, something that I always have to do during the Halloween season is watch the Halloween series. In its entirety, even though, let's just be clear, there's some flawed films in that franchise.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's just keep that real. But I watched them all
Halloween 5,
in order. Right?
Halloween 6.
But I mean, the original John Carpenter Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis.
That's iconic.
It's iconic. It kind of set the tone for that genre. Mm-hmm. The music for me, it gives me chills like the Jaws theme does. I mean, it's just, Anthony, what about you? What are among your favorite horror films?
You know, this goes back to me being a kid. As a kid, I loved horror movies. I love Child's Play. I have a special place in my heart for
Are you
Chucky.
A child of the 80s? Because I do too, and every child of the 80s I know has one. And he's so adorable, right?
I love the fact that he's such a little asshole.
I know. And his kills are so creative and ingenious, even though they're usually not at all realistic. Who the fuck cares? They're fun.
Yeah. Child's Play is one of my favorite film series. I think when you're talking about horror movies, though, you can't just pick one. You have to pick franchises, really.
Right. It's But, I mean, Brad Dourif in that is so good.
Amazing. Have you seen Fiona Dourif, his daughter, in the new ones? Cult of Chucky and the previous one?
Amazing.
Right? Kudos to her.
Yeah.
That is a powerful performance right there. And also, shout out to Jennifer Tilly, who has not aged in 20 years. I'm sorry. She's clearly killing virgins and drinking their blood, right?
God, I love her. I just saw her at Monsterpalooza.
She hasn't aged in 20 years. I'm legitimately thinking she's killing virgins. I say this to be somebody help them, but not really, because I love Jennifer Tilly.
Well, you know what? Actually, I fear are questions like this. When someone says, what is your favorite blank? Because it's kind of an endorsement. It's you saying this isn't just the favorite, it is the best one. And you should love this thing. So I really despise questions like this. I'm just not a fan of having to what's your favorite? Revealing that is something that is difficult for me.
Which is why you're I'm just going to ask the question to everybody else.
Exactly. Well, but I have to think when I think about the horror films that really affected me. Night of the Living Dead, the original one, 1968, starring Dwayne Jones, directed by George Romero. I love that film. I saw it as a kid, slept with the light on. I was so scared. I'm talking about the black and white. And then when Dawn of the Dead played in theaters in Detroit, with a bunch of friends, we went to see, it was this whole marathon of horror movies that they were playing. And I remember the last movie they were going to play was Dawn of the Dead, but they didn't play it till 3 or 4 in the morning. We didn't get out. When we got out, the sun was just coming up. It was the weirdest.
How old were you?
I was a kid. I mean, I was I wasn't old enough to...
Parenting win.
Let's just say I wasn't old enough to drive, right? But so when Dawn of the Dead came out, that was the only way to see it. And it didn't play. It was just it was a scary experience to see that after a marathon. So I don't know, favorite just horror films around this time of year. How can you not love them? So
you have to.
'Tis the season.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see who we're going to have on the show to talk horror films. It's our first guest. It's Joe McLean.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show. Happy Halloween.
Joe was on an episode where we interviewed him about his independent film, The Drama Club.
Fantastic movie.
We've had a pretty good year for horror films, I think, with Get Out and It, Mother. I'm totally stoked to see The Snowman.
I think it's safe to say you're pretty alone on that one.
So, Joe, what's your favorite horror film?
My favorite horror movie has to be The Orphanage.
Interesting.
So damn good. I mean, it's so basic, really. It has all the elements of being like a cheesy horror flick. Like, seriously, buying the old creepy orphanage you were adopted from. There's a kid with imaginary friends, a seance. There's a deformed little boy who wears a scarecrow mask to hide his face. But what I love about it so much is that the characters play it for reality. They are totally unaware that they're in a horror film. Like, they realize there's a spiritual, element to the story that they're in when they start to learn the history of how all the kids died in the house, but really for the characters it's a mystery. The scariest part is the reality of finding out what happened to Simon had absolutely nothing to do. Hey, hold on a second, guys. Hello? Guys, can you just hold on 1 second? Hello?
Oh my God!
What? This is try breathing.
You know, we've never. A lot of crazy things have happened on this podcast. We've never seen someone die on an episode of the Film Threat podcast. This is awful.
That you've seen.
Right.
Is he dead?
Right.
You should go touch him.
This is horrifying, guys. Should we call somebody?
I feel like 911 in these situations isn't that appropriate?
We definitely need to call someone. If somebody dies on your podcast, the first thing that you do is you call the authorities. You get them on the phone. Wait a second. Someone else is at the door. Hey, it's Adam Rifkin.
Hey, man. How are you? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Hi, Adam.
Director of The Dark Backward. Jessica, you know Adam.
Oh my God, I love this man. I think he's one of the most brilliant filmmakers working today. Nice to see you.
Adam, thanks so much for joining us on our special Halloween episode. What you gotta tell us, reveal your favorite horror film of all time.
My favorite horror movie of all time. That's a tough one. There are a lot of really great horror movies. I mean, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, is a great movie. It's maniacal. Makes you feel like you're going insane when you're watching it, which is great. Night of the Living Dead is great. An American Werewolf in London is great. Carrie is great. There are so many great horror movies that I can point to. I guess if I had to say which one is my favorite, I would point to The Exorcist. I know that's a lot of people's favorite horror movie, but with good reason. But I will give you a caveat, and that is that I only recommend the original theatrical cut of The Exorcist. I am not a fan of the director's cut, the cut billed as the version you've never seen. It adds score that I feel is unnecessary. It adds scenes back in that I feel are unnecessary.
Interesting choice.
It adds that scary face popping up everywhere that I think is unnecessary. The original cut is so subtle. It's so real. It feels much more like a documentary in a way. I just think it's way scarier. So the original cut of The Exorcist, I would say, my favorite horror film. And if I had to point to one way to die that would be my least favorite way of looking forward to die, it would have to be dying from dysentery. So if you have some hex or voodoo magic that you're planning to use on me so that I'll die of dysentery, I'm going to ask you please not. I mean, having diarrhea to the point of death is really the worst. Because the lower abdomen cramping coupled with the the pull of your life force out of your ass. And it completely dehydrates you in the process, which leaves you as a withered husk of your former dysentery is definitely the worst. Worst way to go!
I just cleaned the floor. This is the worst.
My God. Somebody clean it up. Not me. Not me.
God. Well, at least, if I'm going to call, now there's 2 dead bodies here.
Who's going to clean it up? It smells so bad.
What a shitty way to go.
This is, first of all, we're just trying to have a peaceful podcast where we talk about horror films on Halloween. This is just, I never would have imagined that this would have happened. This is the worst. I have to call somebody. This is awful.
Yes, you should call someone.
Wait.
Hey, everyone. It's actress and ventriloquist Christine Barger.
We've never had a ventriloquist on the show. This is really fascinating. I'm so excited that you're joining us, Christine.
Hey, thanks for having us. Yes, thank you for having us here. So I'm Christine Barger, and I'm Darlene Hollywood.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I don't think we've met. I think I saw you on Dexter. Great role.
Christine, you got to tell us, what is your favorite horror film?
My favorite horror movie has to be, I don't know. I have so many favorites. I know mine. Okay, what's yours? Mine is Magic. It is so good. It's got like tension, and it's awesome. I love it. Magic is a pretty amazing movie. Not pretty amazing. It is a spectacular work of horror art. Okay, a spectacular work of horror art. All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to go with Scream is my favorite. Oh, yeah, that's really artistic.
Trying not to judge.
I happen to really love Scream. Just because you really love Matthew Lillard. Ooh, Christine and Matthew sitting in a tree. Shut up. I think Matthew is a very talented actor.
I can get behind
He was
that.
also amazing in 13 Ghosts, which is another really good one. But Scream is like that classic, like that moment where they talk about the rules of horror films, and it's just so good. It's not even scary, it's a parody. It is too scary. That was what's so brilliant about it. It was also scary. I used to watch that in college on repeat, like in my VCR, in my little TV, and I would just leave it on, and I would watch it over and over and over and over and over again. I just think it's amazing. It's so much fun. Aw, look! Darlene, it's a cat! Oh, yay. I love cats. Shut up. I do love cats. Come here. Come here. Oh, you got foam on your mouth, cutie. Oh, ah! Ow! Ow, 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 ow! Get up! Ah! Ow! Ow! Ah! It's scratched! Ow! Uh-oh, I think the cat's got her tongue. Do I smell smoke? I think I smell smoke. What? It's getting hot in here. Oh no! Oh no! I'm on fire! Somebody! I'm melting! Cruel world!
Oh my God! Oh, this is what is this?
I don't know.
Things are not going right on the show.
God damn it.
Oh my God. This is crazy. This has never happened on any podcast I've ever listened to. We're trying to have a simple podcast about Halloween movies. Well, this is not.
No shit. Adam Rifkin. But
This is not normal. We really can't. We have to do something.
I blame you.
About
Yeah, you need to fucking call the cops. Are you nuts? We are at a 3-person body count,
the cops. We got to call the SWAT team. Let me grab my phone. I'll get
Yeah.
Hey, it's our good friend Richard Schenkman. All right, I'm so glad you could join us on the show. And Richard, your movie Man from Earth, Holocene, is actually in theaters now. I'm so glad you're here to join us on our special Halloween episode.
Hi, Richard.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Okay, Richard, let's just cut to the chase. What's your favorite horror film?
I would say that my favorite horror movie of all time is probably The Exorcist, which, as a very, very young man, I saw first run in theaters alone on, I think it was a Thursday afternoon. It was a beautiful sunny day when I went into the theater, and then it was cold and raining and black sky when I came out, and I was convinced that the weather had changed because of what I had just experienced inside the theater. It scared the hell out of me, and it really affected me. In fact, I think it's one of the reasons why for most of my life I really didn't go see horror movies. It's only sort of in the last few years when I've actually found myself kind of making some horror movies that I've made more of an effort to see them. Yeah, The Exorcist, that would be the one for me. Wait, no! Please, no!
What's Somebody help him.
I'm going to need a completely new floor. Everything
Really?
is staying.
You're worried about your fucking floor right now?
I'm a little worried about my floor, but...
Okay, can you stop home decorating for a second and worry about the fact that we now have 4 dead bodies?
Something is going on. Wait, just let me get the door. Oh my God, it's Lloyd Kaufman.
Uncle Lloydie.
Lloyd, we love you, Lloyd.
Greetings from Tromaville. I'm Lloyd Kaufman, president of Troma Entertainment and creator of The Toxic Avenger.
Uncle Lloyd, I love you so very much. It's so great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me on your podcast. This is the greatest honor that Troma Entertainment has had in its 44 years of history.
Can I just say, Citizen Toxie is one of my favorites, The Toxic Avenger.
I'm a Terra Firma guy.
Team Poltergeist, whoop whoop!
I love anything that Chris Gore does, except the foot fetish part.
But I'm so glad you could make it on the show. I'm sorry about the mess, but please tell us, what's your favorite horror film?
Oh, this will be good.
The movie that scared the bejesus out of me was Bambi. I saw it when I was 5 years old. I was in the fetal position, and when the mother dies in the fire, it was awful. And then Bambi gets mistaken for a donkey, and they ship her down to Tijuana, and I sexually assaulted her, and I apologize. I'm going into rehab and into detoxification. Sorry about the toxie joke. So what if I was wearing a bathrobe? Bambi, she was consensual. I know it. Hey, what are you doing? No, Toxie, help me! If you're gonna kill me, at least do it while you're watching Troma now. Oh, no, not there. Oh, that hurts. Watch.troma.com. It's the first month is free. After that, it's $4.99 a month. Troma now. Watch.troma.com.
I have never seen anything like that.
Oh, stop. No.
Oh my God.
No, that is so bad.
Enjoy that venison sausage, Uncle Lloydie.
This is... Who would... this is horrifying.
A national treasure has died.
Getting butt raped by Bambi.
This is... okay... in all the Troma movies that I've ever seen, I've never seen a death quite like this one. This is horrific. How is this happening? Every time someone reveals their favorite horror movie, somebody gets killed. Wait, someone's at the door.
Oh my God, it's Mike Mendez. Hi, Mike. I love Don't Kill It, which, by the way, is available on all VOD platforms right now to watch. Go watch it.
Hello, Film Threat. This is Mike Mendez. First off, let me tell you what an honor it is to be on the show. I have been a long-time reader back since the early days in the 90s. I had a subscription, the whole thing, so this is great to be on it.
So, Mike, tell us, what is your favorite horror movie?
So, favorite horror movie. Okay, well, I always get into this debate. There's two things, best horror movie and favorite horror movie. I think the best horror movie for me is The Exorcist, but my favorite horror movie is Evil Dead 2, largely because of the perfect mixture of laughs and gore and scares, great makeup, great effects. I mean, I think it's a total blast and an ultimate Halloween movie. Sorry, I'm kind of freaking out. Someone just walked into my apartment. Dude, what? Can I help you? There's literally a guy in a beekeeper outfit with a bunch of bees. What are you doing? Whoa, Jesus Christ, he's opening the fucking bees! Oh, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
God! Somebody get a mosquito net. Mike, run! Run! Don't stand still. Oh, that's not good.
I think he's dead.
Chris, you should go poke him and see if he's alive.
He's dead. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I mean, there are worse ways to go. I mean, we've seen some of them here. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? This is just. Hey, it's my buddy James Kerwin.
Well, hello. Thank you guys so much for having me on your show. I am honored to be a guest here.
Hey, James is a director. He just did Star Trek Continues, which now is going to have its series finale. If you're a fan of Star Trek Continues, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a fan, you should check it out. But James, I wouldn't have pegged you for a horror fan. I know you're more sci-fi, but do you have a favorite horror movie?
Okay. What is my favorite horror film? Well, this is why you guys should not have had me on, because I'll be honest with you, I am not a horror fan in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I kind of can't stomach horror films.
Huh?
Really?
Which I know is really weird for somebody who kind of primarily worked as has worked as a director in independent film in his life, to not really be into horror films. But for whatever reason, I just can't. I really don't have a taste for, like, the gore. I can't stomach it. It actually really, really bothers me, and I just feel like it's still very hard for me to watch. I have to turn away all the time. So a film that's just an outright horror or splatter film, no way, man. I can't even watch it.
So we're not going to be friends.
In fact, I think if you were to make me watch it, I would probably just oh my God, no. What are you? Do not. Oh God, my eyes.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Oh no!
I'm gonna go. I know I got a baseball bat here somewhere.
Hey guys, what's been going on?
Where were you this whole time?
Out talking to my dentist at 9 p.m.
Yeah, I don't think you're talking to your dentist. This is you're acting weird.
My dentist is on speed dial. These teeth are not natural.
You don't know my life, Chris.
You're acting weird.
He does have a pearly smile.
You're acting weird.
Joe Lynch. Hi, Joe.
Hi, everybody. My name is Joe Lynch. I am the director of such cinematic classics as Wrong Turn 2, Everly, Knights of Barastum, and my new film, Mayhem, which is coming out November 10th. Shameless plug.
Oh my gosh, did I get to tell you how much I loved Mayhem? By the way, it'll be available everywhere shortly. I think it's one of the best genre films of 2017. Certainly your best film so far.
I am so thrilled to be on the Film Threat show. Film Threat has been one of the most important publications of my young life. It was basically my counterculture film school when I was in film school. I was actually the cool kid who would always get the issues and would end up passing them around during class because that was just the cool thing to do. But Film Threat was a huge influence on my likes and my dislikes in cinema. So thank you so much for having me on your show.
Okay, now this is going to lift our spirits and our mood. Just Joe, you walking in right now. I mean, it's been a weird night, to say the least. It's been a little strange, but maybe you could lift all of our spirits and just tell us what your favorite horror film is.
That's easy. Well, there's too many. To be honest, if you asked me tomorrow, it would be something different. If you asked me next week, it'd probably be something different. But the one that always comes to mind is actually my first horror movie, my first movie, which was Dawn of the Dead, the original George A. Romero classic. I do like Zack Snyder and James Gunn's remake a lot, but nothing comes close to the visceral impact that Dawn of the Dead had both on the culture, on the industry, on horror movies, and on me, the young, impressionable 2-year-old whose mom could not find a babysitter that night. So she thought, why not take the kid to the movie where it has this huge disclaimer on the poster that says this movie is probably not for kids. But yeah, I do remember actually watching the movie. I do remember in the beginning of the film thinking wow, look where the makeup ends on that lady's arm when the guy bites it. But those little quibbles aside, Romero made something that was both terrifying, funny, endearing, heartfelt, and a social commentary, which I just thought was so revolutionary. Maybe not at 2, but when I revisited the film over and over again, and every time I see the film, I find something new. I just think it's just one of the best films, not just horror movies, not just movies that we can talk about, seasonally on Halloween, but you can watch Dawn of the Dead in March. You can watch Dawn of the Dead in August. You can watch Dawn of the Dead on Christmas Eve, and it will have the same, if not a more, impact on you. And that's just the power of Romero and the power of what he was kind of going for with that film. So yeah, I that's my movie. I love it, and I watch it at least once every Halloween. But I find myself watching it all the time, and I can't wait to show it to my kids, and subsequently get yelled at by my wife. Lastly, I've been told to give you my most horrible death. And while I feel like I've killed enough people in cinema myself, I should probably know how to die really well, or at least make a good dying sound. Hell, I've actually died a few times in movies and TV shows and web videos and Vine videos and some porn. Yeah, some porn as well.
So there you go. Enjoy, and happy Halloween!
God, there are pieces of Joe everywhere. I got some in my mouth. Oh my God.
He was one of the new masters of horror. We can't lose him. He was too young. He wasn't even 50 yet.
We have to do something. We
should go check to see if he's able to be revived. Maybe he's still alive.
Oh, he looks pretty dead.
There's no reviving that.
It's time to get sweaty.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Jon Schnepp.
Jon Schnepp directed The Death of Superman Lives What Happened. And you also know him from Collider Heroes on YouTube. Welcome to the show.
So you're doing like a horror film countdown type thing?
We're just asking people what their favorite horror movies are. Fair warning, though, people are dying left and right.
I can't say I have a favorite horror movie because, there are so many. Suspiria, Dario Argento's Suspiria is one of them. If I have to pick one film, I would pick John Carpenter's The Thing. That's in my top 10, and for right now, I'm just going to say that's my number one. I've seen it over 50 times, not just because of the practical effects, but the psychological aspects to the horror of the film, where you don't know who is real, who's a real human being, and who is an actual thing. And the film gets me every time. I absolutely love that movie. And hang on a second. Wait a minute. Did you hear that? It sounds like.
This is the worst. Oh no! This is awful.
No! God damn it! This has to stop.
Oh my God! Oh, this is. How does this keep happening?
I don't know. It's your fucking podcast.
Oh, hey guys, what's up? Oh, is that Jon Schnepp?
Hi.
Yes, it's Jon Schnepp. He's been on many podcasts with us, and now he'll never be on another podcast again. Jon Schnepp is dead, sitting right in front of me right now. This is a nightmare.
You should have been more careful.
Oh my God.
I thought he was careful.
Ugh.
Jon Schnitzer! Hi! Guys, my dear friend who I think you all know and love, who just recently directed the movie Haunters, The Art of the Scare, which is available now worldwide on all VOD and other platforms, is here. He's going to hang out with us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
This man knows real scares because he made a documentary on the best haunted attractions in America. So I can't wait to hear what his favorite horror movie is.
My favorite horror film of all time is A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's the first horror film I ever saw, and I was so scared before I saw it. I remember when I saw the trailers for A Nightmare on Elm Street and the poster art for it, and I didn't know what was going to happen, but in my mind, it was going to be like the most horrific film of all time. And when I saw it, it made me jump, it made me scream, and it made me laugh out loud, because Freddy is the greatest villain ever created. There's very few villains that have ever been created that can make you laugh and get you scared. that can come up with the most bizarre and creative ways to come after you and use your worst fears against you. And at the same time, you're still kind of rooting for because you can't wait to see what he's going to do next. But you're also rooting against him because you want to see him get killed, because when you hear his backstory, he's just a disturbing, disgusting freak and you want to see him pay for it. But he's got this weird allure that, you know, I've always loved Freddy so much, and I love it so much that I still have my 3D glasses from Freddy's Dead. The inside of the 3D glasses, there's an advertisement for House Party Part 2 and Suburban Commando with Hulk Hogan. I love it so much. I have a talking Pee Wee Herman doll with the voice chip of Freddy Krueger. Listen to this. There is nothing creepier than a talking Pee Wee Herman doll with the voice chip of Freddy Krueger. It's my prized possession. I absolutely love it. And I just think it's, I don't know, it's not October without at least watching A Nightmare on Elm Street once. I mean, I have to watch it. I have to watch Nightmare on Elm Street every single year, the same way that I have to watch all the Halloween episodes of Roseanne every year. It's just this ritual that takes me back to when I was a kid and gets me completely in the spirit of Halloween, and I absolutely love it. I guess that's the part where I get killed. No.
We lost another one.
This is okay. I'm not saying that we're going for any world record or anything, but this is the largest body count of any podcast that's ever been recorded. And I'm sure if we contacted the Guinness Book of World Records, but let's not think about that now. Let's not think about ways to promote the show.
But at least his legacy will live on in Haunters, the documentary.
Haunters is now my favorite documentary. You should watch it like every Halloween. I was hoping for a sequel to Haunters, but now I guess we'll never get it. There has to be something in common here. Do you notice something weird that's been happening?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I know what's weird that's been happening. Whenever anyone tells us their favorite horror movie, they die. Let's test it. Let's test out this theory. Okay.
Really? Okay.
Okay, so Jessica, I want to hear, what's your favorite? Oh, wait, there's someone else at the door. Hey, Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Hey, Chris, thanks so much for having me on the show. This is super, super cool. Big fan, man.
So glad you could make it. I don't know what to say. It's been kind of crazy, as you can tell. But you got to tell us, we were kind of testing a theory. Would you mind telling us what your favorite horror movie is of all time?
Oh, well, my favorite horror movie. Ooh, I would probably say Hellraiser is my favorite. What do you want? No, get away from me. Oh my God!
I saw that one coming. I mean, did you see what just happened? I saw that one coming.
Oh, hi, guys.
Hi, where have you been?
Oh, just trying to clean this red stuff off of my shirt.
You should use OxyClean.
I will take that under advisement. Thank you.
We don't have time for that right now to clean your shirt. We have people dying on the podcast just as they tell us what their favorite horror movie is. Something is going on. This is insane.
Something is going on, Chris, and it is insane.
Oh my God, it's Christine Elise.
Hello. I want to thank you guys for having me on the show.
It's so great to see you. I saw you last year at Monsterpalooza. You are looking fabulous. For our audience listening at home, you might recognize her from Child's Play 2, as well as every single show that ever played in the 90s. She's been on all of them, and most recently made an appearance in The Cult of Chucky. Thank you so very much for coming out. I'm really excited to have you here.
Well, wait, forget the plugs for a second. Christine and I have been at film festivals together, and we have partaken in drinks. I think that's what we all need now, is some kind of drink. But since we have you here, would you mind,
Chris, seriously,
would you mind telling us,
God damn it,
would you mind telling us what your favorite horror movie is?
Many, many people assume that my favorite movie of all time would be a Child's Play movie. And while I do enjoy them very much, especially Curse and Cult of Chucky, the final two I think are the best in the franchise. The last one in particular has a really great post-credit scene that's only available on the unrated DVD or Blu-ray. But anyway, I think that movie ends with some really great cliffhangers that change up what the next Chucky film will look like kind of dramatically and leaves a lot of things wide open. So I'm excited about that. But that said, my favorite horror movie of all time is The Exorcist. And I know that's a controversial pick because, well, it's not controversial in that it's a great film. I don't think many people deny that. It's not a very interesting choice, especially, but what's controversial about the choice is that everybody involved with the film, director, writer, Linda Blair, everybody refused to call it a horror film. There's an image in it that haunts me always, a pretty simple image. It's when you know that Reagan is tied down to her bed and the priest is at the bottom of the stairs looking up and he sees a shadow move across the window, which I don't know what that's supposed to be. Maybe that she's out of the bed and can move around or what. But that shadow moving across the shade in that window has made it so that I can't look in the mirror in the dark anymore. It still scares the fuck out of me. And that said, I think I'm going to have to die a terrible death now. No. 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 No.
She's being suffocated with a plastic bag. Okay, that was my bad. I won't do that again. I promise. God, what is this?
She's your friend, and she's dead, and it's your fault.
You know what? I've lost count. There's just too
Why
many...
does my cell phone not work here? God damn it. Somebody get me a working cell phone. Anthony, can I have yours?
No.
Hey, it's my good friend, Charles de Lauzirika. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Can you just
be careful?
Can you just tell us
seriously?
Can you just tell us what's your favorite horror movie?
I kind of love all types of horror films. I like genre hybrids like Jaws and Alien and The Thing. I mean, those are not fully horror films, but they definitely have one foot set in the horror genre. I love old kind of gothic horror films that are more intelligent, like The Innocents from 1961. I think it's a beautifully shot and elegantly made film that has got a couple really terrifying moments in it. I have this weird thing with like 1s and 3s. I like The Exorcist 1 and 3. I like Halloween 1 and 3, although Halloween 3 is more of a guilty pleasure, but The Exorcist 3 I think is a magnificent sequel. But I'd have to say the films that I really, really locked in on growing up and even into adulthood, the first one would have to be Dawn of the Dead, George Romero's sequel to Night of the Living Dead, which blew my mind as a kid. I actually wondered if a zombie apocalypse was actually possible. We'd go out and shoot Super 8 zombie short films with that same sort of overcast, abandoned streets, plaid shirt with gore hanging off of it sensibility. And that was a fun series of films to grow up with, Romero's Dead trilogy. But I would have to say the film that really impacted me the hardest, that has influenced me as a filmmaker, and that I just come to over and over again, just loving in every detail of it, is Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Like, no doubt about it. I love that film so much. I actually went on a road trip with some friends up to Mount Hood, Oregon, where the Timberline Lodge is, and if you know the Timberline Lodge, that was the inspiration for the exterior of the Overlook Hotel. It actually appears in The Shining in a couple shots, aerial shots, or shots where you don't see the hedge maze. That's the Timberline Lodge. So we actually went up there and we kind of did our own extremely incorrect version of The Shining, which I hope no one ever gets to see. There's something about that movie that's just so hypnotic and mesmerizing, and the attention to detail, the absolute level of precision in that film just astounds me. And I also find it terrifying. I mean, the scenes where things are out of place, where things just show up and they're not supposed to be there. The Grady twins, the party, denizens there at the Overlook, the kind of ghostly apparitions, and the guy in the bear suit going down and the guy in the tux in that hotel room. I mean, just all that stuff is just so wrong, and that's what makes that film so. Hang on one second. Actually, hang on. Yeah. No, I'm doing this. I'm talking to these guys on this, like.
Okay.
Oh my God! Stop it, Chris! Charlie! Disgusting.
Horrible.
That's coming from me.
Good. Jessica, stay with me.
Okay.
And the count of
Chris.
3. No, stay with me. I feel like I know how to fix this.
Okay.
On the count of 3, we're both gonna tell each other what our favorite horror movie is.
How the fuck does that seem like a good idea?
Just stay with me.
Okay.
Stay with
Okay.
me.
I'm with you, Chris. I'm with you.
I mean, I feel like what we could do on the count of 3, we just reveal our favorite horror movie. 1,
2, 3.
Night
The
of
Shining.
Dead. Oh my God! It was you. It was you all along. Why would you?
No, I want to live. I have to be in the sequel. Let's get out of here.
He's the one